custom graphics.
So she said she wanted to start at 7:05, 7:07. And then
Yeah, we're ready to roll. Very good. That was good timing. Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. If you're new tonight, we welcome you and we look forward to meeting you. Everybody starts out muted, so that's normal. A couple of announcements to begin with. Let me finish letting people in here. First of all, Moms Group. Moms Group's tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. If you haven't been part of Moms Group yet, everybody, all you ladies are invited. We just take 1 hour every Wednesday from 11 to noon to have coffee together from our own homes on Zoom. And it's just an opportunity for us to connect, talk about the topic from the night before. It's also, oops. I can hear you guys talking. It's also an opportunity for you new people too. If you want to get more clarity about what we do as an organization, if you're just jumping into this conversation one time and need more information, please join us on Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. And there's a great group of moms that can definitely help fill you in. And then I'm always available for a phone call to follow up as well. So heads up to that. So an important announcement tonight. Oh, are you trying to get my attention or no? Oh, okay. So the good news and the bad news. Let's start with the bad news. So, well, 3 weeks ago, we announced that we were going to be starting up in-person solution groups again after, since COVID, since March of 2020, we have been solely on Zoom because of COVID. So we got really, really excited about starting out live again with everybody. And we had a discussion today with our board president, Bill Wiggins, after just seeing the news and just, recommendations of masks indoors and all of that. We have decided that we just need to hold off a little bit longer until we find out what the coming weeks, mean for COVID, because we really ultimately feel like it would be irresponsible as an organization to bring people together, and we don't want to require masks. And I can't imagine Art wearing a mask trying to give the message. So he's, that's just not going to work. So we're going to continue on Zoom, and it sucks for all of us. We're all pretty bummed out about that. We miss our Battlefield family. It sucks big time. There's just no way around it. I don't know. Do you want to add anything to that, Art? I don't even know what to say. It sucks. No. I mean, it's just what we got to do. So we're going to hold off a little bit. So we're going to continue on via Zoom, and we're grateful for that. And soon we'll be in person again, as soon as it's safe to do so, and we can feel confident as an organization. All right. All right. And the good news, where's our Kyle? The good news is we have some jokes on the way.
Did Kyle say he was going to do it tonight? He was trying to back out tonight.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we don't have any good news then. It's all bad news. No, I just assumed.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's good news.
No, yeah.
Well, depending on who you are.
Matter of opinion.
Oh, darn. Okay. All right. No jokes tonight. All right. Well, that's it for me. Let's just let's go ahead and get started with Art. Go. Are you ready, Art?
I am.
All right.
Kyle is on a hiatus. He's taking care of his family up in Bellingham, so he was busy today. He didn't have time to prepare.
Got it.
Yeah. And then he didn't want to waste any jokes that he had tonight because he thought we were going live. So he didn't want to use up his jokes.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways. All right. I'm going to try to get this arrangement possible. Proper arrangement. I don't really, it's kind of jumbled what I'm about to say, but for the whole time when this first started out, Angie used to say that I was a teacher. She would tell me that, Art's going to teach tonight. For years, I said, no, I'm not a teacher. I don't do that. But it's, kind of what I'm teaching is just what I've learned. And so it kind of molded into like, well, let me get in this laboratory that I live in. And I do kind of live in this science experiment. I live in a lab always in the midst of, I'd say, Washington State's kind of epicenter of drug addiction, always kind of, you know, where it's happening at, where there's action and the drama, what's going on. And it is an absolute laboratory. And so there's either two phases of my life. I'm either learning or teaching. And what I'm learning is I'm learning what this whole thing was about, and what this is, both the human experience and addiction. And, you know, I just learn about it and then I talk about it. You know, I'm not too into like, I'm going to teach you to change, because I don't buy into that as much as I used to buy into that that's possible. I buy in that we experience. And, you know, if anyone could tell me how to change, then I would ask one question to them. I would just say simply to them, then what problems do you have in your life? And their answer better be none. Because if their answer is, I have problems in my life, and then they can teach me how to change, I would love for them to make that line up. So somebody might say, I can teach you how to change and be a billionaire. Well, can you teach? Then they're divorced with their wife and they're unhappy and they're struggling in that area, or maybe they're overweight. And then, so in any area, it's really tough to say that I can teach someone to change. I can tell you what's happened to me, and I can tell you what I've learned. And I can always do it by looking backwards. I can never tell you what's going to happen to me, and I never can tell you what I'm going to learn. I can only tell you what's happened and what I have learned. And I have to learn that through experience. And then I have to do this experience, and then I have to tell you about it. And a lot of the time it's been very difficult for lately with me. If you guys, Hannah's been around me for a long time, and there's a lot of people that have been around me for a long time, and I do a lot less teaching recently. And the reason I do a lot less teaching is I'm in the midst of learning. I'm learning my own new phase of my life. A lot's changed over this year. It's been very difficult. So, you know, I did a lot more teaching in the years past. And right now I'm doing a lot more learning, and life's teaching me lessons. Well, one of the things that's really shown up lately is that, you know, it seems like life is just this, and this is just like what shows up. And, you know, it seems like life is this good person competition. It just seems like what we're doing as human beings, especially here in America, is we're like all kind of portraying this good person. And we're all like competing in what a good person is. And everybody's got their definition of a good person. Everybody's got this like what they think is a good person. So that's what they put on. And what Jung called it was a persona. So people put on a persona and they say, this is what I think a good person would do. This is how I think. Maybe a shy person says, well, a good person would be quiet. And maybe, you know, an obnoxious, loud person says, well, a good person would say what they feel. A good person would tell everybody about themselves. And maybe a quiet person or a guarded person says, well, you should guard yourself, because a good person says guarded. And so what we do as people is we entertain this good person competition. Everybody's in it. And what we do is we get together with people and we talk about the bad people. It's just what we do. We do it all day. We say, it's not us now. We're all here together. So we're not going to talk about anybody in this room being a bad person. You're good, and you're good, and you're good. But over there, wherever it is, across the street or down the road or over in the other camp or wherever it is, those are the bad people. And we talk, we get together as good people, and we talk about the bad people. And I remember throughout my addiction, through 17 years of addiction, I never considered myself a good person. I just didn't consider myself part of the good people. Now, when I look back over that 17 years, I never spent much time talking about the bad people because I wasn't in the competition. I didn't consider myself a good person, so I didn't need to gather with people and talk about the bad people. What I did was I gathered with people and I did dope. And we didn't generally talk about other people when we did dope. We just did dope. And we like did things. That was it. And so there was this side of me that just, that's what I did. I just went and I did dope. And I didn't really like talk about politics. I didn't have an opinion on Democrats or Republicans. I didn't like care if we were wearing masks or if there was an epidemic. I really generally didn't even know what was going on in the news. I didn't know at all. I just did drugs. And a lot of time spent, most of my life spent from the time I was 30 to 37, most of my life was spent alone with a crack pipe. And so I wasn't part of this. You know, then every time when I tried to get sober, I was always trying to get sober around the good people.
Hey, Art.
So yeah.
Is there something going on next to a microphone? Like somebody moving a pen, somebody jiggling with a bracelet? I mean, is there?
No, how's that?
That's much more clear.
Okay.
It was almost like, I don't know, like a long distance typewriter. Somebody just like a nervous fidgeting of some sort is going on somewhere.
No, nobody's really doing that. But are we
Okay.
good?
All
Are
right.
we good?
I'll let you know if not.
Okay. So when I got sober, there was always this thing that I would go and I would get sober and I would find the good people and I'd hang around them. And they were always really good at letting me know they were good people. They were really good at letting me know that they're the good people and this is what we do as good people. And we kind of talk about bad people. But there would be this time when I was going through this process that I always wanted to be a bad person. I remember like it would be Friday afternoon or it would be Saturday afternoon or it'd be Sunday afternoon. And I tried to be with the good people. I tried. But I'd always end up wanting to go with the bad people. I always end up wanting to go do something dirty. I always wanted to explore something with drugs or sex or gambling or something that wasn't like organized with the good people. And so it was this thing where like, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe in the good people. I didn't believe their thing. I didn't believe whatever they were up to, whether it was church or whether it was whatever it was. I just stopped buying it. I bought it, with my folks a bit. They were pretty good, but I didn't buy it with anybody else. And so then I got sober. And what happened was I stopped using drugs, but there was still this side of me that wants to be bad. There's still temptation and anger and resentment and complaints and jealousy and envy, and that stuff's all there. But as I got sober, I didn't want anybody to see that. And I spent 9.5 years, maybe 10 years, up until the last year of my life, I spent like putting on a different persona, that I'm infallible, that I don't do bad things, that I don't have temptations anymore, that I've somehow got rid of those. And if you just do what I do, then you could not have these temptations and you could not have these things. You won't even watch porn anymore if you do what I do, or you won't even, people say that, or you won't lust after people, or you won't do anything about any of that stuff. But what I was doing to change was trying to accentuate the good. I was trying to accentuate the good parts of me, while kind of denying to people that there was these bad parts of me. Still saying they don't exist anymore, even though I knew they exist.
Someone's not muted.
Someone's not muted, Ange. That's what it is.
That's new. I just fixed it. But there's still something else going on. It's tolerable, but there's something going on.
It might be the chair speaking. Travis, is the second microphone off?
Yes.
All right. Are we ready? Better?
Yes. Very clear right now.
Okay. So recently, I think that, you have this big problem because you think you're a good person. And no matter how good you think you are as a person, what happens is people don't buy it. So people still have these opinions about you, or they still have these things about you that kind of lead them to think that you're not what you say you are, because you're putting on this thing of being a good person. And we're denying, all of us, denying this other side of ourselves. We're denying this side of ourselves that's really true. People come home. It's just like what I talk about on here. I talk about how people complain home alone. That's what I'm talking about. That's the side of you that I'm talking about. That's the side that you didn't show. So we're talking about this side of ourselves that we don't show. Then we're talking about improvement. So I'm sitting here and I'm saying, how do we improve? And I'm asking myself at 11 years sober, how do I improve? And one of the problems is that I've been trying to improve by accentuating the good parts of myself. And I think that's the problem. I think that what we have to do is, one, we have to admit this bad side of ourselves. And it's there. There's temptation. There's instinct. There's wants. There's things that we want. God, I see everybody in society with like couples right now. I know there's so many couples on here. There's couples on here. They go to the store, and then the wife says to her husband, are you looking at that beautiful woman? And the man has to say no. This is the problem right here. This is the problem, is that this good part of ourselves was created because somebody made some rules in society and said, these are the rules. And if you follow these rules, then you're good. And if you don't follow these rules, then you're a bad person. But these rules that we've made in society are impossible. They are utterly impossible to live up to. They are impossible. And so you see all these people trying to live up to these impossible standards of what a good person is. And none of us are admitting, can we admit that we're not?
Sorry, Art. Can I get a confirmation? Is it just me, Kristen? It's not just me. Okay. Yeah, it's just continues to get worse. I don't know. I hate to interrupt you. I want to just keep going and say it's something we can figure out for next time, but it's just getting worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can turn
It's
his
the
game up,
connection.
but that's pretty much all I
And
can do.
it's a problem. Thanks, Sabrina and Riley.
Okay, give us a second. Why don't we play a song and try to figure this out?
DC.
What
We
is
can
it?
play Riley's song.
Like, do you have an EQ with like levels?
No, it's built in.
How's that?
I'll let you know if there's a problem again. And I think it sounds clear so far.
Okay,
Thank you.
we think we got it. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that, what I've been working on and what I've been doing with people, it's very hard because what I have to deal with is I have to deal with people coming to me with a really dark side. When I say exploration of this dark side, that doesn't mean go do drugs. That doesn't mean go have sex. And that doesn't mean go gamble. And what it means is to explore our dark side is to say it exists and then talk about it. To open up and say, hey, this is actually what's going on with me. It doesn't mean to act on it. To explore on it means I have these thoughts. And then we have to find a way to negotiate that. Because doing drugs and doing gambling and sex and whatever we're doing, all that kind of stuff that hurts people, if that's what you do that hurts people, what we have to understand is that isn't the exploration of it. The exploration of it is when we're trying to not do those things, or we're trying to act civilly, and I don't know what civil is for you, but whatever that means is not doing things that make you feel guilty. Not making things that not because of society's standards, but because of your own. So finding a place where you can get to where you act and behave in a way that is kind of governed by your own personal guilt, not what society puts on you. If you feel it's okay to have sex with 10 different women in a month, well, then you shouldn't feel guilty about that. That's your own deal. If you feel it's okay to gamble and it doesn't hurt other people, that's probably your own deal too. And if you feel it's okay to smoke or whatever deal you feel to do is fine. But what the problem is that you come here and you act like it don't exist. You act like it's gone when it ain't. And what that leads to is it leads to secrets. And it leads to covering things up. And it leads to going to dark places by yourself. And it leads to acting out through these things, but then trying to deny it. And then a whole list of difficulties. So this idea, but this is it. Like what I said about a man and a woman walking in the store, and then a woman says, did you look at that woman? And a man says, no. This is the exact problem that we're dealing with in our society. Because if that man can't say yes, he can't tell the truth. But if he says yes, he has to deal with a whole list of difficulties on that side too. He has to deal with the insecurities of the woman that's being looked at, that is saying you can't look at other women. But it's there. And then that's the contradiction that we're all dealing with, because we come and we see society and we look at it and we go, everyone's trying to be a good person, but they're not. And I think the worst type of person is the person that says they're a good person. That is the worst. I do not know a worse type of person that other than a person who thinks of themselves as a good person. I like people that tell me they don't care about me. I don't give a shit because I know it's true. I know it's true. I like when people can tell me the truth and say, you know what, really, I don't care. I like people that go to the funeral and go, I'm having a hard time crying. I have to make it up. Because I was 8 years old and I was at my grandma's funeral and I couldn't cry. But society had told me that I'm supposed to cry. So I'm sitting there at 8 years old trying to muster up tears and put on a persona like I'm sad about my grandma. I wasn't. I wanted to go play with my cars. That was the truth. And the truth is, I'm not a good person. That doesn't mean I do evil. It means I'm not society's definition. I talk shit. I talk shit about everyone. I talk about the bad people. I complain. I have resentments and anger and jealousy and temptations. and they exist. What I'm trying to do is not do that. So that's what I work on. And I work on actually exploring my temptations and getting away with it, which means doing it honestly, finding out how I can live and explore and do things that don't hurt people, but I actually get to have a good time. I get to do the things I want to do. I get to date who I want or see who I want or be with who I want. But for years, you know, I lived in the persona. And I thought enlightenment was the way. Enlightenment was not acknowledging the shadow and putting that down and saying, I don't have this dark side of myself. But I don't believe that anymore. I believe that what I've learned is that enlightenment is looking into this stuff, looking into how I'm not a good person rather than trying to accentuate what a great person you are. Looking at the nasty side of ourselves, saying it exists. You know how nasty people are? You know how nasty it is to look at somebody in the face and smile and then go talk about them? Ultimately, it's the nastiest shit you can engage in. I would say nastier than drugs or sex. To look at somebody and say, yes, you're good, I like you, that was a great time we had together, and then go say something opposite. I don't know anything more evil or nasty than that. I don't know more evil than nasty than sitting in a room with somebody and putting on a face like you like him and then talking and saying you don't like him when you leave the room. I know nothing more. Now, all the good people are going to say they don't do that. If you're a person and you think you're good and you say you don't do that, bullshit. You fucking did it today. I know you did it today. You went, you looked at the teller, you said, oh, hi, miss, how you doing? And then you went out in the car and said she's stupid. You did something like that. We do it. We're not good people. And that's the whole thing. You guys, all of us, we started drugs because it was a contradiction. Because maybe for a minute you go, fuck it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to act like a good person. I don't want the damn picket fence and the dog and the bullshit. You know what? I think the most honest person today, maybe not, but maybe it's honest to stick a needle in your arm. Maybe there isn't anything more genuine than saying I'm in pain and this solves it. Fuck off. Maybe. Might not be. You might be doing that shitty too. But here it is. I'm not here saying I'm good and if you do what I do, you're going to be good. There isn't anything. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe you're going to talk about people or you're going to have evil thoughts. You're going to say mean shit. You're going to be vindictive. You're going to protect yourself. Now, this evil, this side of ourself, this dark side of ourself might not be for anything other than protection. It might be a weapon that we use to protect ourselves. A weapon. So when we talk about people, when we say, I got to watch out for that person, or we say they're bad, we might be saying they hurt me. We might be saying they actually, make me feel bad about me when I'm around them or something like that. So we're just protecting ourselves. And then why? Why are we protecting ourselves? Then you look and you see, what if I can learn all this? What if I can know when I'm protecting myself? What if I can know when I'm being this way? What if I understand it? And we look and we say, there's these two sides of me. There's what I show the world and there's what I am. That has to do with sex too, guys. What I show the world about sex, what I tell the world that I am about sex, and what I want to do when it pertains to sex. That's why Jung said it was contrasexual. He said when people get developed and they explore this side of them, they explore other parts of their sexuality. So there's married couples on here that haven't done this. And they're miserable. There might be. I don't know for sure. But there might be couples that haven't explored that they have another side of themselves. So they look at each other and say, let's just do it this way. And it sucks. And so they don't do it very often. And it sucks because neither one of them are the truth of there. They're both putting on a persona. Do you like this? Yes. No, you don't. But I got to say yes because society says do it this way. So I'm in a learning phase of my life. And what I'm learning is, can I admit to you all, a lot of things happened to me in the last year. And basically what it was a lot of people thought that I was saying that I'm infallible, that I don't have temptation, that I don't act out of biology. I do. We all do. So I do things that hurt people because of my biology, because society says don't do this when it's an impossible standard to not do. And we live in these restraints. So freedom means, how do I explore all this shit about myself and not hurt people and not protect myself and not just say I'm a good person, but look at the other side of me and explore through that side. When I feel angry, yeah, that's anger. I'm not a good person. This is anger, protecting myself. This is what I'm looking at. I feel anger. I want to, a plane. You want to hear a baby crying. You hear a man and he's not paying attention to his kid and the kid's crying and you're on the plane and you want to take your socks off your feet and wrap it around his neck. I mean, that's the kind of fantasies that you have, And so, I don't know, but I'm learning. And I'm learning about what this is and what I have to hide from people. And I don't want to hide nothing from no one. Just because why? Because you're going to tell me I'm bad when you're full of shit too? You're full of shit too. You do it too. I just say I do it and then everyone goes, oh, wow, he's honest. You do it too. And that's whatever. Talk shit about the bad people. You're telling me at your dinner party you didn't get together and talk about the bad people? Bullshit. What would you talk about if you didn't? Seriously, if anyone is on here and they got together at their dinner party with their friends and they didn't talk about the bad people, let me know what you talked about. It was either small talk or you talked about the bad people. The weather, sports, minor politics, or you got real down and dirty and you talked about how you're great and someone's bad. I don't know another conversation to be had. We don't even have a language as human beings. We don't even have a language to sit there and speak with each other if we're not talking about people that are worse than us. Because that's what we do. We're in a good people competition. Who wins? Who's the best here? Who does the least dirty shit? Me. Yeah, you're the most full of shit then. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because you're so stuffed up you can't even live. So that's what they're doing here, I think. They're finding a way to take this dark side and have it integrated into who you are. To admit it openly and then integrate it into being able to not go to prison. Can you live in the restraints of society, still feel free, not go to prison, but not lie about who you are? At the core of me, temptation. I fail to it. Wants. Everything. So, we get on here and we see these kids struggling with drugs. I don't know. That's honest to me. What they're saying is I'm not a good person or I want to explore this side and I have these things and I'm going to fail to them and I'm going to go do them and I'm going to fall victim to them or whatever they're doing. They're giving in to them. Now, can we teach them to still acknowledge? They don't have to come in and immediately and say, I believe in this or I believe in that. And this is now I'm all of a sudden deemed a good person. That's the other thing. There's some thing that we just say something and we're deemed a good person. Is that true? I believe in this, therefore I'm a good person. I don't know. I know I'm not. And I'm going to stop looking at accentuating the good side of me and I'm going to look at this bad side because maybe if I could be with the bad side more and I can show it more without going to prison, without hurting people and without stealing and without robbing folks, but just ultimately explore that and not have to put on a persona all day, I might be happy. And so that's what I'm learning. And I think it's hypocrisy. And I think we're seeing hypocrisy at its finest. The Democrats and the Republicans. Who's the good people? Which side is good? If you listen to both of them, they're going to tell you they're the good side. They're so full of shit. I can't even turn the TV on because both of them deem themselves good people, which I know is wrong. I know both sides are so full of shit. I'd love to argue with any of them that prescribe to either a Democrat or a Republican this day and age in America because I don't care who you are on here. I'll look you right in the eye and tell you you're nuts. Because both sides say they're good people and they're both wrong. Because you have to acknowledge somebody else's good side, somebody else's success, something. You have to take responsibility. Which side takes responsibility? There would be a good person. Oh, neither. Neither. That's crazy. It's called blame. And that's what they do. The hypocrisy will drive you to leave the country or do drugs. You got to work with it. It's deep. Anyways, I guess I'll tie it up and just say, we're in a good person competition and everyone wants to be good. And that's blocking all of us. It's blocking the truth. Because we can't even talk to each other. Because we can't be truthful because a good person can't tell the truth because if they told the truth, they wouldn't be deemed a good person. So they got to act like they're a good person. They got to say good things and they got to say nice things when they don't want to. I was thinking the other day of how many times what I want to say comes out compared to what I say. Now look at that. That's deep. I don't know. And we all know if we started just saying what we wanted to say all day, it'd be like a movie. They'd have to make a movie about us. This guy says what he wants to say all day. He's a lewd. That's what they would do. They'd have to make a movie about it. He says the truth that's in his head all day. They did. Liar, liar. Yeah. Jim Carrey. Yeah. He found enormous difficulty when he started doing that. Remember that girl in the elevator? She goes, everybody likes me. Everybody does what I say. And he goes, that's because you have big boobs. Remember that? She slapped him. Yeah. Anyways, we can open it up. But, yeah. Let's hear from the good people, And tell me about the bad people. Fuck. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm a good person, and that's what it is. Now, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to say what we're missing is intent. See, the problem with both sides, the problem with understanding why we call a person a bad person and why we say we're a good person and why people who think good people are bad people is because we don't understand intent. And I learned all this because I'm working on trying to figure out why I think I'm a good person, but people think I'm a bad person. So I've learned and I've asked questions and I'm like digging into the people. I'm asking the people that think I'm a bad person why. And what I've come to realize is they think I had evil intent. They think we plan. They think as human beings, we think the bad people are plotting and scheming and planning all the time and are like 10 steps ahead. Mm-hmm. Like the Republicans will tell you that they planned for Joe Biden to get up there on the stage and lose his cognitive health. Like the Democrats were sitting in a room one day going, we're going to get Joe voted in. He's going to go mental. He's not going to be able to speak a coherent sentence. And then our plan will all come into fruition. I doubt it. I doubt it. And I doubt that we intend to do anything as human beings. I think we try to do our best. And then it looks like evil intent. And it looks like we tried to hurt. But we just did what we did. And so when we're talking about the bad people, what we don't ever do to seek understanding is we don't seek understanding of their intent. We don't truly want to hear their intent because we think we already know. So when somebody tells us they didn't intend for it to turn out that way, we go, yes, you did. You planned it. And we hold on to that because we want to be angry and we want to be righteous because then we're the good people. So the so-called bad people, we think that they have intent to be bad or they have intent to hurt us. and we don't listen to their story about why they did what they did. So I look and I see people that think I'm a bad person. Well, I did what I did, but they think I did it intentionally to hurt them. I didn't. I did what I actually, the truth is, I couldn't help not to do what I did. That's the truth. So it's like somebody doing drugs. It's not that they want to do drugs, it's they can't help it. They can't help it. Somebody that's going to eat when they can't help but eat poorly. They don't want to eat poorly, they just can't help it. Somebody that smokes cigarettes, they don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore, they just can't help it. Somebody that gambles all their money away does not want to gamble all their money away. That's a terrible plan.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't help it. And so when we hurt people, for the most part, it's just, we just can't help it. So if we'll listen to somebody else's intent, it's a way to actually get to freedom if we believe them. It's a way to let ourselves go. You see, if the Democrats and Republicans got in a room and they said, why do you do what they do? And then the Democrats told them, the Republicans wouldn't buy it. And if the Democrats asked the Republicans the same question, they wouldn't buy it because they want to hate. They want to hate each other. They want to fight because that makes them the good person. And that's the story of their life because we're in a good person competition. That's all this is. This isn't a competition for who's at the most peace. This isn't a competition for who's settled and compassionate. We are in a who's the good person competition. And it is thick. And that's all everyone's doing all day. I don't care what they say. I'm amongst the good, and I will point out the bad. And as soon as the bad comes to my house, now they're part of the good. And we can talk about the other bad.
Yeah. Can you leave it up?
Yes. Yes. All right.
All right. So we're going to open it up and let me address the sound stuff and then we'll be done with it. It has not improved. It was tolerable enough to get through this, but it sounds like I can hear Woofy snoring sometimes, I think. But it's like blowing through a straw or sucking up a straw, both.
This is too close to the computer. It's the only thing that we changed.
Okay, it's a variety of things.
I have
clicking.
my phone backwards.
So we'll want to solve it for next week because
Let's see if we can fix it now. We're gonna have to fix it now.
I just don't want to keep interrupting your. That's really annoying for everybody, but yeah.
Try that.
How's that now?
Well, right now it's good, but it's.
Okay,
That's what it was. You were speaking through that mic.
I can never tell quickly.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, I hope
think
so.
we
It
got
comes and goes, so it's not just as easy as saying it's solved now.
You're hearing Parker's shoe.
When you talk for a while, I'll be able to confirm. So, so the way that it works is the way you let me know that you have something to say, any questions, meet the new people, all that. See, I just heard it. I heard that one was slurping up a straw.
That was his chair moving, I think.
Okay. So there's a raise your hand feature on your device. See Stacy's raising her hand so y'all can see that there's a hand raised. So Stacy, you'll be first. But there's a raise your hand feature on your device that you can raise your hand and get in line. And that'll tell me that you want to say something. Sometimes people can't figure out that on your device how you raise your hand, and that's okay. You can just literally get my attention, unmute yourself, something like that. Somehow get my attention. There's a few screens to go through to see everybody, so just hang tight. We want to get to everybody. If you have any comments, thoughts, questions, confusions, anybody in the thick of it right now that needs a coaching moment, that's always welcome. You new people, we want to meet you. Sometimes new people, you're walking into an ongoing conversation. And so some of you might be confused, and we welcome you. We want to welcome you. We want to get your questions answered. I can follow up with anybody tomorrow with a phone call to give more clarity or anything like that, but we definitely want to meet you. So let's start with Stacy. We need your video on. That's the only way that I can spotlight is if
okay. Am I on? I can't see my.
Stacy, that's okay. At least the picture's there and you're good.
Okay, that's about as good as I get. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All I wanted to say is I don't hear the sounds that you're hearing.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I'm gonna be there tomorrow anyway at 1:00, so I'll see you
Yeah.
then.
Yes, we'll
All
see you tomorrow for your coaching session at 1:00 in
All
Kent.
right.
Yes. Thanks, Stacy.
Uh-huh.
All right. Who's next?
I think they're scared tonight.
Yeah. They're like, what? The new people are like, did I come to the right place? Yes.
You know what I'd love for somebody to just raise their hand and go, I'm gay and I've never told the world. You know what I mean? Just like,
Oh, and I'll get
yeah,
burrows on
yeah.
Hold up. Two different people just messaged me and said, I think I hear vaping.
P's right by here vaping.
That's what it is.
It makes sense.
Ma-
Is that
Melinda and Kristen both said that, and now all the moms are nodding. That's what I hear is vaping. Oh, look, all the moms, everybody knew. I'm like sucking through a straw. Sometimes it's pushing through. Sometimes it's sucking in. I just couldn't figure it out. I should have figured that out. You guys are so smart.
Yeah.
All right. So even when Angie's not there, I think when the camera's going, we need to not vape. They're gonna hate me even more there. Oh my gosh. Okay, Steve's got his hand up. Let's get you unmuted. Yeah, when I'm there at the Kent house, they don't vape when I'm in the house. They're very good to me. And so they don't vape. They don't love it though.
Because you deal with it.
They're very good to me there at the house.
All right, I like the hat. I like
you.
that.
Yeah.
Hey. So I have a question. I'm having difficulty with distinguishing good and bad. I'm not sure why you share that. Is there a reason to do that so that you can be real distinct about the two different ideas? Do you really think it's good and bad?
Well, what I believe is there's something that people won't show to their social group. There's a way of being that, whatever that way of being is, that they're one way at the dinner party and one way alone in the car. And the reason they'd be that one way at the dinner party is to be known as a good person. This is what a good person acts like. This is what a good person says. A good
One that fits in.
Yeah, a good person doesn't say mean things. A good person doesn't tell the truth. You know, he can't tell the truth. If somebody says, hey, I got this idea, and they're at the dinner party, say, I got this idea. Well, somebody that thinks they're a good person will say, that's a great idea. And then he'll get in the car with his wife and say, that is the dumbest idea I have ever seen. And I think that right there is the nastiest of nasty. And I really don't know another nasty form of anything other than that, because it's almost as if, you leave that person when the person, generally gets clued in to what they've been facing, the fraudulence that they've been facing in that room, and the people around them. It leads to a place, like I remember my aunt, she got her house robbed, and I remember that changed her. Because, she felt, I never felt, and I thought she was being a little bit whiny or whatever, but she got her house robbed. They came in and robbed her while she was sleeping. And, that took a toll because she never trusted again. It's tough to sleep after that. And I can see that. It's also tough to sleep when people in the room with you nod and smile and say, you're great. And, and then go do the nasty thing and act like you're not, or say you're not. I'd rather they just said you're not great. And so, and I'm not saying I do this. I'm not saying I don't do this too. I'm saying we all do. It's a fact. This is what we do. It's a thing we do as humans.
Well, you've talked a lot about in the past about honesty and putting yourself out there to be honest so that you don't end up nodding when you say that's a bunch of bullshit that you're saying.
Right. It's basically, can I leave it? Can I leave this? Can I leave this conversation? Did I leave it there? And it's that drag. It's like taking, and that's just one form of nastiness. But there's tons of forms that, you know, somebody that deems themselves a good person, you know, maybe they're a scared person. Maybe they're fearful. You know, maybe it's not good. You know, I always say, like, listen, I've been in a room alone. Any man can tell, and this is kind of crass. This is, so excuse me. I'm not gonna, but you know, anyone can say he wouldn't cheat on his wife. Any man can say he wouldn't do drugs. But I don't know how many men have been in a hotel room with a beautiful woman and a pile of cocaine. You know, I don't know. And if you are, and you have been, and you didn't do it, you know, you didn't do it. You didn't sleep with this beautiful woman. You didn't snort any of the cocaine. Well, raise your hand and let me know how you did it. You know, really, you know, because I will deem you a hero. And you're probably mighty. But, you know, I'm saying a lot of people don't get in those predicaments, maybe because they aren't good looking, or maybe they don't have a voice, and maybe they're scared. But a lot of people that deem themselves a good person can't get themselves in this situation to begin with. So
is self-righteousness another form of that person that those?
Yes. Well, that's the part where we're saying, my behavior is that of a good person, and I'm going to now point out the behavior of the other crowd, and I'm going to say that behavior, well, I don't know the intent, and I'm going to assume the intent. I'm going to look at their behavior, and I'm not going to try to understand why they do it. I'm just going to say it's wrong.
Right. So asking what the intent is an honest part of a conversation.
That's part of this exploration. Is this thing shows up in your head, this complaint about this person, and it shows up, and then either you want to keep it or you want to be free. But let's say that you want to explore yourself and you want to be free. So this complaint shows up, and then now, can you have the balls? Do you have the stones to like go confront this situation, and not in a way that you're confrontational, but in a way that you go, hey, I want to understand. And then will you listen when they say their truth? Mm-hmm. Or will you still go, because sometimes people tell me they're trying to understand me, and then I tell them the truth as I see it, and then they go, no, that's not true. You did it because of that. And I'm like, no, I didn't do it because of that. And I'm telling you, I didn't do it because of that. This is why I did it. You know, this is what was going on in my head at the time. And so, you know, and this is the fun part. What I'm learning right now is there's this other zone with people. There's this other place where, but you can't stay there, because see, when you get in that place and somebody's like you're trying to figure out what happened between you and a person, and there's blame and there's guilt and there's anger and there's all that mixed up. It's so hard to stay there and listen to them critique you, because society says, well, if I buy into that one and I say that I'm this, then I'm not a good person. So I got to keep defending that I'm a good person. So we defend ourselves, and we defend ourselves and say, I'm a good person. I didn't do it. So it's so hard, because then we don't want to hear, we want to say, well, you did this and you did that. And this exploration is the toughest zone, because nothing comes out of it. Like what you'll see is, if you are in this place and then somebody says, you know, you hurt me or whatever, well, then you did. I mean, you did. And it doesn't matter. You hurt someone. Right. So there's like, but what we do when we hurt someone, and what I've done for a year is I hurt someone. And then what I do is I go, no, but you did that. And that's why I did that. And it seems to matter, but it doesn't. There's just that thing, like someone's hurt, they're in your wake. Mm-hmm, that's it. There's nothing, there's no shining that up. Yeah. And we try to shine that up because we want to be a good person. But I'd rather not shine it up anymore. I'd rather just go, you know what? I'm fallible. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, so I don't know, but I mean, I think it starts with, like, what I've realized is it starts with my complaint, and that complaint leads to an exploration of all sorts with them, with me. And it starts with my resentments, because we have these resentments because we don't get our way. And that's it. We don't get our way, and it's not going our way, whether that's even at the dinner party and we say our opinion. For some reason, when we say our opinion, we want so deeply to be with people that agree with our opinion.
Sure.
I mean, we want them to have the opinion so bad that if they don't have the same opinion, we want to leave the dinner party and say they're bad people. I mean, really. And we don't even know where we get our opinion from.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but the good person competition is so much that it's blocking all of us of getting any work done. Like, we can't make any changes because if we made changes, we'd have to admit that we weren't a good person. And you can't do that. You can't do that and still keep up your image. You gotta kind of shine it up along the way. Well, I wasn't a good person because I used drugs, and so everything I did, it was because of drugs, or it was because you did that, or it was because of you did that. But the reality is, wow, you did it because you did it. And the truth is that we do it because we're human, and it's probably biological, and you probably couldn't help yourself. And if you could have helped yourself, you probably wouldn't do dumb shit. But I mean, even simple as like eating a pie at 10 at night. Well, why did you eat that pie at 10 o'clock at night?
No, I see.
Well, listen, maybe I couldn't help it. That's simple as that. I couldn't help it, because if I could have helped it, I wouldn't have done it. But instead, we come up with this whole rationalization. Well, there was something on TV, and then it reminded me of my ex, and then, my ex is shitty, and that makes me want to eat, and then I got to go eat. And so that's why I had the pie. But I'm a good person. No, you're a pie-eating piece of shit. Pie face.
Real nice.
Okay, hey Lisa Breyer, did you unmute yourself?
That's who I think eats pies are.
Yeah.
That's the 10 o'clock pie guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Lisa's was an accident or she wanted to say something, so I wanted to make sure and put her up here and give her the chance and see if she meant to. Lisa Breyer, are you there? We always loved hearing from Lisa at live solution groups, but it might have been an accident that she unmuted herself. I'm thinking so. I'll go ahead and mute you, Lisa. And if you wanted to say something, you can unmute yourself again, and I'll find you again. All right. So Pam's next. Hey, Pam.
Hi. So I just had a couple things. One, well, Chris can't, he isn't on being able to be viewed because he's on my email tonight.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't see
Hi,
him.
Chris. He's here.
Okay.
He's
But,
here for you.
When you were talking just now, and it reminded Dave of a song and myself last week when you were talking about people not being real. And it came out in the 70s. It was called, shoot, now I'm not going to remember the name of the song. It was by The Undisputed Truth. And it was about people lying. And you'll have to listen to it, but it basically talked about some of the things that you talk about, people smiling, and you're trying to figure out where they're coming from because they're not being truthful, they're not being real.
Yeah.
And the song was just, it was like point on by some of the things you were saying.
We'll look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to figure out what it could be.
Well, Pam, it's not. It's theirs right now in this room, and on Zoom. There's something that everybody in this room does not want found out about them.
Okay, it's called Smiling Faces Sometimes, and it's by The Undisputed Truth.
Okay, we'll play it later.
We'll have that as our closing song. How about that? At the end.
And then just one more thing. I've been really frustrated lately. I've been dealing with the hospital, and you kind of know the scenario on that. And I feel like maybe it's just not me. Maybe I need an education on the pros and cons of methadone versus Suboxone and some of the other things that are out there that replace opiates.
Yeah, well, we're not going to do that tonight, but we don't have many pros of methadone, but I just think, unless it was, Pam, I don't know anymore. I don't know who's selling what, who's up to what. There was a mother the other day, and she told me that she read an article about Suboxone, and it wasn't about Suboxone, but it generally, the thing about the article was that people get out of treatment. If they're not on some type of maintenance program, they overdose and die. And that there's a suggestion that that's the problem. Well, I said to her that people don't overdose and die because they're not on an opiate replacement. They overdose and die because they did drugs. That's why they overdosed and died. So to blame that it's not on Suboxone or they're not on methadone is insane. That's insane. People die all the time on Suboxone because they try to shoot more drugs through it. They die all the time on methadone because they try to shoot drugs through the methadone. They try to shoot more into it, and that kills them. So there's there's a mess. It's all a mess. It's all a mess. And there is not many, Suboxone, methadone. I don't know. I don't even like to comment on it publicly anymore. I don't even like to give my opinion about it. I don't. It's just a mess.
Okay.
What I told her was the people that make Suboxone, that is generally the same people that made the first batch of opiates that got everybody addicted. So to me, that is like a contractor that just is standing in your house and the rain is pouring through your roof that he just put on, and then he tells you that he'll go fix the roof. Well, I don't understand. But if you just pay him again, he's now going to go up and fix the roof. Well, nah, dude, you screwed it up. I'm going to get somebody else that knows how to put a roof on. And so we have a problem that generally was created, as Sam Quinones told us, was created by Big Pharma and created by the drugs that came in from Jalisco and the heroin that came from, and it was created by that. And now the same people are telling us they're going to solve it. I have a hard time buying it. I just do. That's my only thing. I have a hard time buying that the same people that created the problem are now going to solve it for us. Seems very fishy. I could go out and get a bunch of people high and then tell them I do drug treatment. Sell drugs at one end and then, get people addicted. And then I could bring them in and do drug treatment. That would be awesome. I'd have way more clients. Just go to the bar and start selling fentanyl and then give them my card and say I do treatment.
Yeah.
Tell everyone you're a really good person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very leery of it. Yeah. Anyways, we talk off camera about that, Pam. But
okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? Where's our new people out there? Karen and Ron, can we say hi to you guys? Let's get you. Let's get you unmuted here.
I think that's stepbrother's the dad.
Yeah. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi. You're Tracy's friend.
I am. We are.
Nice to meet you.
We got your names from them.
Great. And do you have did I just lose my screen? No, here we go. Do I see a family member of yours on too? Are you all related? Same last name?
Austin Chatterton, that's our son.
Hey, Austin. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thanks for letting us join you tonight.
Yeah. I'd love to follow up and help answer any questions and get some clarity with you.
We've got some questions and we definitely want to do, a consultation with you guys. So we'll figure that out.
Great. I'll call you in the morning and we'll get that scheduled.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, Great. Awesome. Where are you guys from?
We live in Newcastle.
Oh, okay. Great.
Kind of close. Not really, but.
Fabulous. Hi, Austin.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Where are you from?
I'm in Maple Valley.
Okay, great. Who's there with you?
My wife, Star.
Hi.
Hey there, Star.
Yes.
Beautiful name. Nice.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for being here.
So Karen and Ron and Austin, this started out as like education on addiction, and it started 7 years ago. We were teaching families about, early warning signs and all kinds of basic stuff, not to enable. What we then learned is that this was a entire family issue, and that it was.
And we're finding that out.
Yeah, it was deep, and part of my aspiration was always to not just work with addicts, but it was actually to get down to where it really, and I'm not talking blame. I'm just talking about what's happened, and how it happened, and what we all did, not with evil intent, but just what happened when a group of people can get together and try to do their best and then have this result. And this is just a result. And a lot of people say that, if you listen to people, they'll tell you that addiction around here is some type of, has happened because of trauma. And maybe some cases, but the opioid epidemic and the heroin epidemic that's in this country and the meth epidemic, it happened because of supply, mainly. When drugs are bombed into a community and dropped in, people do drugs. And what we've learned about heroin is it never sits on the shelf. So there's never been a group of people bringing opiates and they can't get rid of them. So whatever amount of opiates and meth get into our community, that amount will be done. It'll just serve different populations. There's no way it'll sit on the shelf. And so that's what we're dealing with. And we begin to point fingers with each other and families begin to look and see what happened. I think you could have raised your kids exactly in the 80s around here. You could have raised your kids exactly how everyone's raising their kids, and it would have turned out swimmingly, but it's not anymore. And the difficulty of our internet and the phone and the every difficult way there is to parent is now available. And being a parent in this day and age, I would say, is one of the most impossible situations that you can be in, because the kids they get together with a peer group. They have massive knowledge at their fingertips, access to tons of drugs. And I would be dead if I grew up in this day and age. Trust me. I was a heroin addict from the get before I even did heroin. And if I would have had this much heroin around, I would have found a way to die for sure. And it was this cheap. So anyways, that's why it turned into more of a philosophical conversation on Tuesday night. So you're joining us in a philosophical conversation about life and politics and kind of everything that's going on. And then we get down and dirty behind the scenes and help you out with the way that we could help you.
Sure.
So, Angie, that's just my little take. I didn't want you to, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe I am. No, I've gone crazy. I wasn't when we started this thing, but now what I've known after 10 years is 11 years of doing this is I know a lot less now than I did at year 2.
Sure.
I know very little at year 11. I knew a lot at year 5. I thought I knew everything. Now I'm just here as a philosophical experience teller. That's it. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll get down with it.
Thanks for sharing your story. It was interesting.
Well, yeah. And let me just add this, because first of all, they stuck around till 8:10, which is great. And I do know it can be so confusing when people just enter the conversation like this and they call. So I'm glad you guys stuck around. But this was I'm just going to read a little thing here. This was my response a week or so ago to a new person that had popped on. We've evolved so much as an organization in this message. And so it can be confusing because you come here, you think you come here to learn about drug addiction, and then you're hearing a different topic. So this is my take to explain a little bit to you guys and anybody else out there that's new. So solution groups are an explanation or an exploration of human beings and why we do the things we do. An exploration and look into the things that block us from connection and the experience of love. Although addiction is the entry point for many, it's not the focal point in our language. So new people can be quickly confused as to what this has to do with the reason that they came to us. Their loved one, their addict. Well, I will tell you, it has everything to do with them, and it has nothing to do with them. When parents engage in the work of the curriculum here, they start to take a look at themselves and begin to acknowledge those places in them that they never even knew about, the places that have never seen light, things they didn't know that they didn't know begin showing up. So what about those of you in the fire right now and just need to know where to start and get some fundamental right moves to make when it pertains to your addict? Well, we do that too. That's the short-term work and important and necessary. So book a consultation, and so we can begin to get to know you. And then, addiction or whatever suffering you have in your life is here for you, not something that's happening to you. And so that's really where we stand, is that it's happening for you and to you, and it's for you as an individual. And so definitely I invite you to book a consultation to kind of get started, and that will help us kind of get a starting point for your particular case and go from there. So
sounds good.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? Let's get you guys muted. All right. Who else is out there? Any other newbies? Any other newbies out there? I see Kathy Washington. Good to see you. She's out of the screenshot right now, but I know she's here. She's listening in. Good to see you, Kathy. Jackie's in the house. Hi, Desiree. Brian's in the house. Lots of people. Any comments? Anything you want to share? But all you guys that have worked with Battlefield, if there's something that you'd like to share, maybe when you first tuned into a solution group, you weren't quite sure what the heck either, but you hung in there, you kept tuning in. You can certainly share any insight for the new people. They sure appreciate that. We all do. Hearing it from your words always helps. Hey, Angela, let's get you unmuted. Angela from West Virginia. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good. What you talked about today, Art, really set with me, because I remember back on another session that we sat in with that you talked about, coworkers and getting along and what have you. And you're absolutely right. This was months ago, and when I was telling you how things were going at work and people weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing and what have you. And I was talking about a girl, and I was talking about her in the hopes that it got back to her. And she finally called me out on it and said, I thought we were friends, and if you had a problem with me, you should have came to me. And I said, you're absolutely right. So let's have that discussion now. And she didn't want to have it. So I forced her into having it. And now it's just feels like a load off of me to just be able to let that out and tell her how I really felt about us as coworkers. So you're absolutely right. I think it just being able to tell somebody what's really on your mind and how you really feel, as opposed to talking about them behind their back, it just makes so much more sense. And yeah, we don't do it all the time. We still do that, like you said, you're leaving and telling somebody, oh yeah, you're a good person, and then behind their back you're talking totally different. But I've been working on that, and through your teachings, I feel like I'm getting a lot better at that. Even with my addict, I'm straight up honest with him now. I don't hold nothing back. When he gets a little testy with me, I just kind of let it roll off my back. I don't get in an argument with him anymore over stuff. And we have such a better relationship now than we've had in a long time. And he's doing quite well as far as hard drugs. He's still smoking pot against my wishes, but we have a much better relationship now. And that's due to Battlefield and maybe a little bit of the extra therapy I've been getting on the side, but I owe it all to you guys.
Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome.
This is the hardest part. The hardest part is what I've learned recently, truly, is that, and this is recent, is that if I want to be free, and I mean truly free, nobody else can be wrong. You really got to grasp that.
Right.
To have true freedom in your workplace, they all got to be right. They have to be right in in who they are. They have to be right in their action. And notice that our day is unhappy at the moment we realize somebody's wrong. And the moment we have it in our head that somebody's wrong and we're right, we are unhappy. We don't know we're unhappy. We're so used to it being okay, and we're so happy with being right that it's replaced happiness. And so, being right has replaced happiness. But when you truly look and you see that you're filled with anger and resentment and complaints, and you want to focus on your work, or you want to focus on creating, or you want to wash your car, and you can't wash your car because you're sitting there thinking about somebody being wrong and what they've done that's wrong, and you can't enjoy it, you'll really realize that this secret that I have to find a way to figure out how the people that wronged me are right. The people that I felt wronged me, I have to figure out how they're right and I'm wrong. If I don't get it figured out, I will never be free. So now I got to go to work. I got to figure out what type of person they saw me as. I got to figure out what I did. I have to look at all of it. But if I don't get it figured out why the people that wronged me in my life are right, I'm never going to be free. And I've come to that realization. And that's tough because there's no good news here. I have to actually figure it out. If I don't figure out that their intent was good, that their intent was right, that they weren't plotting, they weren't scheming, that they just did what they did. And if I don't get that settled in my mind, I'm never going to live it up. I'm never going to get away from it.
Right.
And people don't know that because they're so used to, like, if the Republicans wanted to be happy rather than angry and the Democrats wanted to be happy rather than angry, if they just said our goal is to be happy with each other, our goal is to be free, our goal is to get things done. If they did that, they would have to actually do work on themselves, and they would have to look into being able to sit with the answer that the other side gave on their intent and call it the truth. But they're filled with hatred and anger. And it's not getting us anywhere. And now it's trickling down to we're all filled with hatred and anger. The news is hatred and anger. We can't even turn on a newscast and watch it just be the facts. They've all now turned on to their opinion. And so we're screwed either way there. So you got to get to a place where you go about your day and the humans are right. And the more humans are wrong, the unhappier you are. So you just drive around and you say everyone's all messed up and everyone's wrong and you're severely unhappy, but your righteousness kind of fills in for it. So you're able to actually make it, but it's bad gas, bad fuel. So I have to figure it out. I have to figure out why I keep fixating on what people have done to me, but it's not true. It's not true what people have done to me. It's what they did. And then I have to figure out why they did it. And I have to find good intent, because if I don't find good intent, then I'm never going to be free. So I have to actually go and do this work. And I'm in the midst of it. It's okay. It's just not good news. So it's an exploration. It's just another form of another zone of depth that maybe you can try. And maybe, freedom will come up for you. Maybe it'll come for me. It hasn't yet. I still wake up at 5 a.m. and think about the people that have wronged me. I can't get back to bed. And that's whether they wronged me yesterday or 5 years ago. And that's recent. I used to not have that. Just coming up lately. Maybe none of you guys deal with this. I do. I deal with it. So that's great, Angela. You go home from work, and then you go back in and you get free because you say, hey, I want to understand why you did what you did. I don't want to tell you what you did and how it hurt me. I want to understand why you did it. And I truly want to understand. And when you give me your answer, I'm going to accept it because I want you to be right. I hope it's a good answer because I want to hear it. But see, now you're not ready for this freedom if when they give you the answer, you say, no, that's not true. Because then it shows me that you still want to be right.
Yeah.
That time when you want to be right and you're telling your husband or you're telling somebody what a piece of shit somebody is. And then somebody that gives you that thing and they go, well, maybe they just meant that. And you go, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And you get angrier at your husband because they're trying to show the good side of the person. That's right. That's what we do. Nope, they're evil. They're bad people. I'm a good person. They're not. Over and over and over. Every single argument right now in the history of mankind, every argument is one argument. I'm a good person. No, you're not. That's it. Yes, I'm good. No, you're not good. I'm good. No, I'm good. No, you're not good. I'm good. That's the entirety of every argument. There's nothing else to argue about. And here we sit. I'm better than you. You shouldn't have done that. I'm good. You're bad. Well, I did that because you did that. You're bad. And then a text war starts. Shit. Ah. So I just got to lay it down. I just got to say I'm bad. Then I'm done. You proved it.
That's okay.
Being bad's okay because we all are. It's just, it's not fucking real that we're not.
So it's being good.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
Okay. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
As you can see, I'm going through it. I mean, really am. I'm not going through it in a way that it's a problem. I'm going through it in a way that it's great. It's like pressure and it feels great. And it feels like I'm going to get somewhere. And it feels like there's something on the other side. It feels like I'm in a tunnel. And it feels like if I can just get to the end of the tunnel, I see that there's light. And the light is that everybody else is right and I'm wrong. And that's the only light.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to freedom is, in my opinion.
With a lot of the same issues myself.
Yeah. I mean, can you see it? You know, but all of us, we've gotten so used to the good person competition that we can't let our guard down.
And this is where safety club.
Yeah, safety.
I feel safe in this club.
Yes.
You're right. Fuck you.
Yes. Being good is a safety club that we've all initiated ourselves in and, you know, we get to be part of for a little while. Unless we do something stupid and then we get canceled.
You take away your
You know, you get your membership taken.
Yeah.
Oh. I remember I worked at Oboy Alberto. There was like 219 employees at the Oboy Alberto plant. And I did something stupid and they fired me. And then I thought the place was going to go under. And then after I thought the place was going to go under and it didn't, I deemed it a bad place. You know, that is a bad place. I would drive by there and go, all those losers. Such bad people. They're all 219 of them making a living for their families and packing that jerky. They're not a good person like me because they would have never fired a good person like me if they were a good person. Boy Alberto, Art Alberto. Yep. Good name.
Hey, before you close up, Art, let me tell them a couple reminders. Some people joined a little late, so I wanted to make sure everybody got the message that we are extending our opening in-person solution groups. We're going to wait these next few weeks out to kind of see the recommendations of wearing masks inside. We don't feel like the time is right. You know, we had announced 3 weeks ago that we were going to start up in person again, but we announced that a little too soon. With the COVID cases rising and the suggestion to wear masks and all that. So we're just to be responsible as an organization, we're going to hold off a little bit longer in opening up. So wanted to make sure everybody got that message. We will continue on Zoom until further notice. And then tomorrow morning, all you moms, and Karen, if you can join us tomorrow morning, please do if you're available. I don't know if you work during the day, maybe you aren't. Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk personally, so no problem. But anybody join us tomorrow morning for Moms Group at 11 a.m. So, all right, you can close up when you're ready, Art.
Yeah, you know,
Oh, we have one question. We have time for one more question. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler Valala, let's get you unmuted.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Hey there.
Hey, so I missed the start. Is the barbecue done too?
Yeah.
Okay. And it'll be in like 3 weeks?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. We were supposed to restart next Tuesday. We were going to have the barbecue opener and solution group next Tuesday, August 3rd. But because they're recommending now, the Department of Health and they're recommending everybody indoors wear masks, we just were a little too quick to pick that date, as we were just so anxious to meet in person again, but we were too quick to do that. So we're going to have to hold off on meeting in person until further notice. So we can't wait to see everybody again. We sure miss in person. If you haven't been part of a Battlefield event, you ain't seen nothing yet. But in due time, when it's safe to do so, and we're confident as an organization that we're being responsible as far as everybody's health, then we will resume.
You know, I've been watching a lot of, I don't watch a lot, but I do enjoy maybe about 20 minutes of TikTok a day. Maybe sometimes I extend a little bit more on the TikTok than I should, but I do like it. But one thing that has come up for me is one thing that's unbearable is somebody who has been part of this so-called change industry. I am sick. You know, I've gotten to a point where I don't buy change. I don't buy the selling of it. And there's this every time on TikTok, almost every area of your life, whether it's financial or health or, you know, drugs or, you know, cars and mansions and whatever kind of change they're selling, discipline and all this stuff that they're selling on as change. And I very rarely buy it anymore. So I don't buy it because it's like, if you guys have ever experienced change, I think as human beings, change kind of shows up. I'm not saying it doesn't show up, but I'm also saying that if you want to make a change in your life tomorrow, you would have a very difficult time making that change. And I don't care what you read, and I don't care what inspired you. I don't care what you did, but it'd be very difficult to just make up. And anybody knows the difficulty of change would understand a New Year's resolution and understand how many you've made and how many you failed. And I would argue that the number of New Year's resolutions that you've made and the number that's failed is the exact same. It's 100% failure rate. And so that's the difficulty of change. And anyone that's selling it, I will say, well, what area of your life do you want to change? And if they told me none, I would call them a liar. And if they told me, well, I've changed in this area and I'm going to teach you to change in this area, then I'd say, why haven't you taught yourself to change in the other areas? That's insane. And so I've really realized that, you know, change isn't maybe possible. Maybe what it is that we see. So change is a seeing, not a doing. We see things that change us. Things happen to us that change us. Consequences change us. Things change us. That's true. There's change. And maybe what I might say tonight you might see something in a different way, which might cause change, but you didn't do it. You just are here for it. You know? And I think the hardest kind of change is that change that we say we're just going to do. I'm going to be better with my money. I'm going to be better with food. I'm going to be nicer to people. No, you're not. Admit it. And then it's sold on TikTok and it's sold anywhere and people are buying it. Somebody says a book, How to Be a Millionaire. 10 million people buy the book. How many people become a millionaire? Zero. Zero. The guy that sold the book. And so selling change has gotten tough for me. It's more like, I don't know. I hope maybe you're here and I hope maybe you hear something and I hope maybe it's on you. And I hope maybe it comes in and it sees it different. And I hope maybe that if you've been running around calling yourself a good person, that you might just go, hey, maybe I'm not so good. Maybe I don't have to defend myself as such a good person all the time. And maybe I don't have to put other people as bad people. And maybe I can just go, hey, we're all doing this thing. And it sometimes looks like we're bad. And it sometimes looks like we're good. And it's from your perspective in which that comes about. You really have to see that somebody might be deemed a bad person, but you might be sitting right next to them and you watch them operate and you know they're not. But the whole world thinks they are. Why is that? Because it's perspective. Because you have to really investigate. You have to explore. And we have to get a little bit deeper. But I'm not here selling that you're going to change. I'm not trying to change you. I'm trying to say, just look and see it. There's a philosophy. Look. I'm just trying to give it out there. So I don't necessarily know the steps. If I said, here, one of you guys in this audience tonight, I want you to change and here's how you're going to do it, I wouldn't even know what to say. So anyone that tells you that you're going to change and this is how you do it is a liar. Because you would ask them, what changes do you want to make? They would say, I want to make this. Well, why didn't you do that? And anyone that tells you how to be a millionaire, I want you to notice the people on TikTok that then tell you how to be a millionaire. I want you to notice that they're already a millionaire. I want you to notice that it isn't a guy with $100 in his pocket that has never been a millionaire saying, I'll show you how to be a millionaire. It's very suspicious. So actually, he's not telling you, he's telling you what happened to him. He's not telling you how to do it. He's telling you this is what happened to me. And it might not happen to you. So if I tell you how to get sober, I can only tell you what happened to me. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. That doesn't mean anything about you. You might have different circumstances. You might have different stuff happen. That doesn't mean we don't help people get sober. What we do is we show you something different. You look at it, and maybe that helps. And so here's what we're doing. We're just laying it out here tonight. We're going to keep laying it out there. But I'm not telling you how to change because I don't know. Because if I knew how to change, I wouldn't weigh 210 pounds. I'd weigh 180 and I'd have abs. But I don't. So there you go. You know, I wouldn't go eat this pie tonight that I'm about to eat. And I wouldn't waste my money when I don't want to waste my money. And I wouldn't, give in to temptation when I don't want to give in to temptation. But I do all those things. And so there's nothing I can say. I hope for you it's time for you to never use drugs again. And I hope for you that you pick up some stuff here. And I hope you like it. And I hope it fits. And I hope you wear it. But I'm not telling you how to change because that's going to come through your path. And this might change you. That would be very fortunate. So you better be around and listen because it might work. But it might not. And that's not my fault either. And might be not even yours. It just didn't work. All right. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Cole had his hand up. I think he wanted to. Yeah. Hey, Cole.
Maybe he doesn't know his hand's up.
It might. That could be. I'm not sure. Hey, Cole. All right. Closing.
Hello.
Wait.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Cole.
Yeah. You got to sit still, Cole, or it'll worry.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? I'm in the grocery store right now. Really bad reception.
Hey, Cole, there's
Hear me now?
Cole.
Yeah.
How many hours in a week? How many hours in a week?
No idea.
There's 168.